We are live. Welcome. Hello, everybody. How you going? Campbell here with Lorenzo for another live. Hope you're all doing well in this crazy world. And that's sort of what we're going to talk about, this crazy world, right? All lies in the alien invasion. We've seen it
For
in the
sure.
skies, and I think it's coming into our brains too. What do you think? How you going, Lorenzo?
I'm doing good. Yeah, like all lies in. It's a very interesting topic. I don't see any comments coming up.
No,
S-
we've got 11 on now, but yeah,
oh,
I know
okay.
we
They just
normally have
haven't.
people saying hello to us. Come on, people, give us comments.
They just haven't streamed for me yet. Okay. I don't know why they're not coming through, but that's all good. Either way, everyone. Oh, there they are. Bring it. All
There
right.
we
Thank
go.
you,
We've
bud.
got
Bro.
one.
Now,
Coach
now we're coming.
Eagles.
Hi.
Good.
All
Hello,
right. Hello,
hello,
everyone.
welcome.
So that's
We're
good. I
not
thought
talking
the
first.
AI got us. So all lies in is the topic. In a way, we're doing this tongue in cheek because obviously all lies in is a play on words for aliens, and all an AI, which I still strongly feel strong is not really artificial intelligence. I have heard, and I believe it stands for the all-seeing eye of the non-physical entities that are probably behind a lot of the nonsense and BS and lies that come our way. Talking about disclosure, Kamala and I did a video. I strongly feel, there's been disclosure and there's been things going on for a long time, but you're not going to get the real story from any of the mainstream news, BS outlets because their job is to fill you full of lies, to kind of tell you half truths and half lies. And that's why we used all lies in, because if you listen to the main news and you listen to what's going on, you will hear a whole bunch of lies, and whether you let them in or not is up to you. And to understand the difference between artificial intelligence, which by definition, intelligence can't be artificial, but it can be non physical, right? It can be more of an energetic kind of intelligence, and it can be something, we all know we only see 8% of the physical, energetic, visual realm, the light realm. Most of it is hidden from us. Everyone
Yeah,
knows dogs can hear better than us and smell better than us, and all the animals as well. And cats see things we can't see. When you're in the room with them, you watch them looking and playing around. You go, "What's that crazy cat doing?" So it's very obvious there are things that we, in our normal physical sense, the normal human meat jacket we all wear, can't see. On the other hand, to intuit these and to figure them out is, in my opinion, one of the reasons we're here and born under this, crazy dream that most of us are living in, and not to let in the lies of the aliens, and to understand where you can go by understanding what you need to let in as far as being a fantastic and loving and wonderful being on the planet. And that's me taking us in there, Campbell.
mm, nice. Yeah, AI. I never really thought of that before. A for all seeing, I.
Eye
Interesting.
for eye. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So AI, and this is the thing, like, um, the aliens are the people on the TV, right, yelling to us, like all the parasites. They're I don't know who they are, I don't know what they are, but they're not us. Is sort of what I say. So that's the invasion as well, right? It's kind of already happened, and they've sort of taken over everything, and they're trying to now invade our minds, right, through smart TVs and phones and social media, right? All this, and this is the thing with social media. All it was is they saw the news was dying, so they put their efforts and money into social media. So just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's true. Keep that in mind. But what are we going to let in? Because if we live our lives based on what we're told from the outside, especially from the mainstream, all we're doing is creating the world they want, right? Or the world that someone else wants. But if we can, take control and not let other people's lies in and opinions, then we can create the world that we want. And isn't that what everyone keeps talking about? We want this, we want things to change, we want things to be better. We don't like the parasites. But then, people tend to keep following these same entities down the same road. So I guess the question is, what are you letting in, and how is that affecting your life? Because that's the
And
real
that's
thing, right?
why
It's false.
it is. Yeah, I mean, Campbell and I did a video that could have more views and should have more views in our disclosure, which is probably one of the most important topics of all. I mean, if you talk about alien disclosure, suddenly 2 million people are watching your video because for some reason, and I'm going to get to this in a second, that's more interesting to them than inner disclosure, knowing themselves. But that's the trick of the all lies in, because without inner disclosure, it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside. I mean, what are you waiting for? Right? People are waiting for disclosure. Why? Because somehow in my opinion, I'm guessing the world will be better, our energy will be better, our life will be better. The bad people that are running things will suddenly be doing good things. Our monetary system will be better. Our personal abundance will get better. And really, it really can't from the outside, I've found, unless you understand what's going on the inside, right? To get a hold and a grip of who you are and why you are, and maybe to ask yourself, and this is a good question that I've been sitting and looking at, why do you find it so interesting that they're going to finally talk to us about aliens, which, by the way, I've been alive for many decades, and I can remember them talking about this in the 70s. Right? So literally, for 50 years, they've been talking about disclosure. Everyone remembers Area 51 and those aliens that crashed, and they're going to finally talk about it. And the 2 million books that came out about it already. Right? The UFOs in the skies. I used to collect all of them. I had hundreds of them. And did they help me? Not even a little bit. They were more of a distraction and an entertainment than something that brought me to where I am. So the bottom line here is, what does the AI mean to you? And what do the aliens mean to you? And what lies have you let in so that you can backtrack, let the lies out, and take control of your life, which is what I feel is the best possible answer to these shenanigans.
Are you saying that Dr. Stephen Greer isn't telling us the truth, Lorenzo? Oh my God, I'm shattered.
I bought his book a long time ago, the Face on Mars. I remember Dark NASA. That was one of his books, right? And I went and read it from cover to cover. And they go, look, there's really this here, and I go, oh my goodness. This was like 20 or 25 years, long time ago. And then you realize he's working for NASA, and everything he's shared with you is garbage. And these people never get to the point. They always get close to the point, but they never, ever, 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 ever get to the point. All these people are going to disclose monetary things or alien things or political things or pedophile things. And they do eventually. Right? Have you noticed, as I have, that politicians do bad things, and then 10 years later, they always tell you, well, this was a bad guy, but it's too late to do anything about it. Right? They did it with so many. Yeah.
Now they're doing it again. CEO of a big company. Leave them alone.
Yeah, and they're doing it again. It's like, this politician was bad 20 years ago. Now we're good. This politician was bad. Now we're good. And then you start to see the whole process, wrap itself again in a different direction. Like, let's say Trump. It's like, let all the aliens in. No, don't let all the aliens in. We have 200 sexes. No, we only have 2 sexes, right? We're going to give everything to China. No, that's a bad idea. Let's bring everything back. Et cetera, et cetera. And it just keeps you on this hamster wheel of running in circles. And then once again, what do you get out of it? Well, you get distracted. And what's the bottom line with all of that? Isn't that interesting? Get back to work.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. We'll take care of it for you. We're here to tell you the truth. You don't need to worry about it. Sit down. The Savior's coming. And this rhetoric's been going on, well, forever, right? Oh, hello, Sherlock. Sit down.
And hey, yep, go on.
Hello, doggy. Sit. What was I saying? Yeah, this rhetoric's been going on forever. So I've just lost my train of thought. Say something, Lorenzo.
No worries. Jeez. No worries. Hello, Kathy from Florida. So what reminded me when you mentioned us greeting from Orlando and we were there discussing before we got on the live stream here, and I'm going to throw it out there. We were going to do a live event perhaps in the summer, and it's something that seems to be moving faster than us, because I think reality always moves faster than you want it to. And we may be doing something in April on the East Coast, perhaps in Florida. And it's going to be very much related to, the aliens, exiting the matrix, and self-love, self-reliance, how to pick up your own power. And it's all related to everything that we're discussing here about what you can pick up for yourself, what you can see for yourself, what you can. Oh, Jesus is coming. That's so nice, Victor. He can come to the event too, but he's got to buy a ticket like everyone else.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was talking about, wasn't it? Saviors, coming to save us. It's always, like Lorenzo was saying, it's always the same. It's always, a few years down the line or whatever. We never seem to quite get there. But what it does is it just makes us sit and do nothing and not take control of our own lives because we're waiting for a savior. But the truth is the savior's already here. and you know, it's you. Like we're already here. We've just got to take the reins and stop, you know, guru worship. Really, you know, it's like with the whole Trump thing. You know, obviously, you know, with the election, there wasn't much choice, right? You couldn't vote for, you know, the opposition. And so a lot of people now think he's the savior, right? He's here. He's going to make everything perfect and great. And what that does is it means when he does things that are a little bit maybe iffy, people will explain things away to make him right, because in their mind, he's right. He's the savior. And so you start believing lies, right? And all this information that isn't necessarily true. So this is the thing. If you understand that, I mean, first of all, they're all actors, right? It is, you know, that there is them and us. We know this, right? We know that there's people who seemingly, you know, make $1 billion in like 5 years, and we're, you know, as the population, like, how do you make $1 million, right? But so as long as we put our faith in them, we're going to make excuses for them, and that's basically them just leading us down the road, right? So I think the first step is understand, you know, this is all good. You can learn from everyone. You know, and believe in everyone, but don't count on them, you know, to change your life. That's you. You know, we are the ones that we've been waiting for, as they say. So, yeah, it's basically, discernment. Someone said before, discernment. When you hear stuff, don't just believe it because it's Trump or it's Elon or it's whoever, right? Someone that you believe is good and is doing the right thing. Believe it because it feels right. Believe it because it aligns with your moral code, right? Don't, or be able to disregard it, you know. Well, Trump's a good president, but oh my God, he's gone crazy here. What's he doing? You know, why is he employing ex-CIA agents to, you know, start up his AI and all this kind of stuff? We just have to have discernment and take control and realize that in the end, they're public servants, like these politicians. They work for us.
Well, I don't.
This is,
you know, that's the theory.
It's the way it's supposed to be, right? They are public servants. So in the end, we need to tell them what to do. But the problem is, of course, we elect them to power. We give them power. We give them our power. We say, here we go, have our power. Now you tell us what to do. And that's really what we need to get over. It needs to be, okay, someone needs to make decisions of how roads are built, but you know, you shouldn't be making decisions on this and this. And this is where we can stand up and choose to not get involved, choose to say something, choose to do whatever, but not believe their version of reality. Yes,
I think it's all a nonsense game, you know, for sure. I mean, look at Baja Girl, What Go Leaderless. I don't know why that freaks people out so much. You know, I don't think anybody can help you out of a hole. You know, they made the hole, right? That's the thing. These people made the hole. They threw you in the hole, and then they pretend to take you out of the hole, but leave you full of holes. So in other words, you know, it's all a play in a stage section. They can't. Like if I got thrown in a hole, I wouldn't sit there with my arms up waiting for someone to take me out of the hole so I starved to death. I would do everything in my power to climb out of that hole, you know, and get out of there, as you said, and to save myself. Like if you're waiting for Trump, you know, to get his shoes dirty and to come pick you up and pull you out of the hole, I mean, you guys should meet some of these politicians. I have, you know, like I said, I don't think they're completely human. I know they're full of, you know, their own excrement, and also it's done on purpose. You know, none of this is by accident. And it's an interesting play on reality that people learn from the time they're little, that they need someone to tell them what to do, which is very strange because really you don't. You really just got to figure out who you are. That's why Campbell and I, Bahagar, you should watch that video on inner disclosure, right? And figure out what's going on inside you, so you realize nobody needs help getting out of any holes.
No, it's ourselves, right? I guess is that how we become holy? But you know, this is what happens: is, you know, people throw you down the hole and believe this, and when you finally pull out, they're like, "Oh, I was just getting a rope. I'm still on your side. I was just about to help you." But yeah, and unless we take responsibility, and responsibility as well is respondability, right? It's your ability to respond well to all this information, because we've got so much coming at us. The world has changed so quickly, right? Especially in the last 4 years. And it, you know, with the whole AI thing, it's coming in more. There's just so much information. And that's because the game is to get our attention, right? when we're focused on the outside world and this is happening and that's happening and oh my God, what are we going to do? Here's our savior, here's the devil. Then we're not living our own lives. And that's the trick. It was like Lorenzo was saying before, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we'll fix it. Now go back to work, right? Which is their ultimate plan, to just keep us working for them, to support them, to give us, to give them our energy, to vote them into power. Vote means vow. So we vow to follow these people and give them power. And that just makes us powerless, right? So it is really
Also,
just a big...
Don't forget, it's a volt too, like energy. VOLT, volt. Very, very similar in words. An electric volt
to lock away
to vote,
the voltage,
to lock away, and then the voltage to give away your power. We're energy beings. I think that's what most people have forgotten, is we're energy beings first. The physical is real, but it's not first, in my opinion. So I think that's where the illusion, and politics is an energy harvest. That's right, Fat and Stinky, and great name. That is exactly what I find has been the trick. Is we're taught, like when you're little, you don't think about your body almost first. I mean, sure, you're hungry, you're poo, whatever, but you think about playing and enjoying and imagining and getting out there and climbing trees and smelling flowers and rolling in the dirt, whatever. And you're not really concerned with a lot of the physical things that they teach you, inculcate in you when you're schooled. That you have to follow the rules and all this other stuff, and money. These people that say they give money, people have forgotten they make the money. I mean, Trump talked about taking over Canada because he gives Canada $200 million, which, what did he give to Israel and the Ukraine last year? $800 billion. I mean, it doesn't even mean anything. You can see through their BS if you understand where the energy comes from, and the fact that anybody could print a piece of paper that says it's worth something, but how many people can give you another life? So what's more valuable? You get your life as a gift. That's it. You can't buy any extra.
The present, right? Now is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Yeah.
And no one else can give you the present, right? No one else can give you anything really, apart from something from the outside world. But as far as real change and all this kind of stuff, that's, no one can give it to you. I mean, they can sell you books, they can sell you all these different things, but the self-help community, for instance, has been going since the 50s, 75 years at least, more. And the world hasn't changed for the better. People aren't running around, it's not like everyone's suddenly all living their dream life, right? That's because when you put your faith and your hopes, I guess, in an outside influence, in someone else's interpretation of life, that's their interpretation. It doesn't mean because it works for them, it's going to work for you, because we're all in different places. We all view the world differently because we've had different experiences. So, there's a lot of good information out there, but just remember, everyone's a teacher and everyone's a student, but there's no gurus. There should be no one, including obviously myself and Lorenzo, who you believe is 100% the truth. That's the truth. If I do exactly what they tell me, then, off we go and my life will be brilliant. That's called a cult, right? So just take what resonates. Not that I like that word that much. Everyone's saying resonate these days. But, just take what feels right to you, use that and leave the rest, right? There's always going to be something you can learn, even if it's what you learn, even if it's learning what you don't want. There's always something there. And if you take away, something from each situation you learn, well, you're moving forward, right?
Yeah, and you just to understand yourself is the thing that everyone runs from. It's so weird when all of your knowledge is within you. I don't get why people won't accept it, and I've been there myself, to understand how you've been wrong, how you've made mistakes, how you've been tricked, like all of the so-called negative emotions, because it's behind those that all your power lays. People go, you have to get rid of your shadow and go to the light. No, you can't change what you've done in the past. That's non-negotiable. If you were bad, or you did something stinky, or if you did something bad to yourself, or if you did something bad to it's too late to change it, obviously. But it's never too late to accept responsibility for something that you've already done, right? This is what I don't get. It's like if you did something bad when you were 12, to your sister or to your friend or to yourself, or when you were 14 because you were, too silly at the time to realize it was a bad thing, too late. You've done it. but it's never too late to pick up the power from it and to realize, well, that was something I don't want to do again. I've made a mistake, as Campbell said many times. And that is such a powerful movement. And it's not just because you become ethical or moral or any of those things. It's really an energetic tie of understanding you have the potential to do bad things. So then you have the potential to do good things. And this will give you a level of energetic healing that we can't even talk about, because there's so much you can't get in words. You have to put in your body. You have to put below your mind, into your guts, into your hara, as they say in Japanese, into your intuition, into your feelings. If you're a lady, into your womb, because wombs are multifunctional, he said, winking. And it's not just for making babies. And a lot of ladies will probably understand that at certain times of the month when they start to get cranky or sensitive or upset. And it's not because, well, it's just that time of the month. It's because they're starting to feel the world as is, in my opinion, beyond as what they've been told. And that starts to piss a lot of ladies off, or piss a lot of men off, because you're starting to feel something's wrong. What the hell is that? And then from there, you can make something right.
Yeah, you can't fix a problem you don't know you have, right? Like, we all do silly things. We all have, mistakes, but that's just human. The thing that we've got on top of that is perspective. We can look at it and go, oh, well, that was wrong. Okay, I won't do that again. Or that was bad. I didn't like the outcome, whatever it may be. Or that was great. That worked well. I'm gonna do that again. And that's really all we've got, right? Is our own thoughts. The only thing we can really kind of prove is that we're here and we're thinking, right? We're experiencing something. We can't prove that much else, because it's all on the outside. So we can change ourselves, we can change our thoughts, but if we leave it to the outside world, and we're getting, we're basically taking other people's opinions as facts for our lives, and it doesn't normally work out well. I mean, like I said, there's always some truth in there, but it's got to come back to us. What are the lies? And it doesn't mean that a lie is a lie to everyone, right? Like, it's just what's a lie to you, what's wrong for you, what's right for you. This is all we can, in the end, do is hone our perspective, right, and get better. Learn. Okay, this worked, this didn't work, and that's really it, right? There's no mistakes, all mistakes. Just learn from it, do it again better. And the main thing is, make sure it's yours. Make sure what you're doing is you. It's a product of your discernment, of your perspective, because otherwise you're not really living. If we're not doing that, are we even living our lives, right? But we're sort of not. We're just following the crowds, and we get to the end of it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to live. What a bugger. So we're here, so we may as well live, right?
I mean, has anyone ever seen a politician? Has anyone ever seen a politician's words big helpful? Really, has anyone ever honestly, been helped? I mean, they give you $5 and they take $500. Like, if you think and look at results instead of words, I think that's the trick. Politicians trick people with words, but then you watch results, and the results have always been the same. The world has been moved, North America, in a certain way for 100 years, longer than I've been alive. You can watch the flow of what they've talked about and what they say and what they want, the flowing movement of things for forever. Like, China's bad, but let China manufacture everything for us. I mean, come on, think about that for a second. China's bad. China's the enemy. They're doing horrible things. We got to watch for them. We got to put tariffs on them, as Trump is doing. But let's let them manufacture everything we use. Like, it makes no sense.
And the US
absolutely no sense.
The US owe them $800 billion or something. So, like, literally, when people in the USA are paying their taxes, they're giving money to China, right? The bad guys, the boogeyman who's going to come and tear down your reality. But there's always got to be a boogeyman. So you go. So
why doesn't Trump want to take over China if they owe $800 billion? Why do they want to take over Canada that they give $200 million? They spend $200 million on their yachts every year. It doesn't even mean anything to them. Like, if you actually had $1 billion in your room, you'd have to leave the room. It's like so much money. People, and then they talk about trillions of dollars. And and then they tell you they're going to give you back $100 because they love you, and everyone goes, "Yay, we're getting $200 back on our taxes or three." Like, think about it. What could you buy with that? Nothing. Like you're robbed consistently and constantly. If you had 100,000 in the bank 5 years ago, let's say even in Japan, it's worth 40,000 now because the yen's gone down. So literally somehow in the back, they're already stealing everything from you. My parents bought their house for, I don't know, $18,000 when I was in kindergarten, and now it's worth $1,000,000. Like, think about that. Is somebody making like 100,000 times more in their salary than they were, 50, 60 years ago? No, they're not. Right. So, so
No.
what's going on really? Like I said, watch results. Watch what's really happening. Don't watch what they say, because it's the old bait and
Yes.
switch and always has been.
Totally, man. People are what they do, not what they say.
Yeah.
Like that's the bottom line, right? So it doesn't, and like Lorenzo was saying, we've had this story definitely ever since I can remember, right? Politicians, they're always doing stuff for us. It's always going to benefit us. It's always going to make our lives better. But has it ever? It just keeps getting worse. So we know by default that this is all crap, right? That we can't just blindly believe these people anymore. I mean, geez, we shouldn't really have ever believed them, right?
No.
Because provably what they're doing is destroying the world, right? I mean, we know the water, the food, the environment, the pollution, like all this stuff. And then, we have Elon, who's worth, they say, $600 billion, right? And he's coming to help us, right? He's going to save us. Is he giving 500 billion to the world to help people and stop poverty and disease or anything like this? No, he wants to put chips in your brain and then get robots in your house. So there's
Nobody
an agenda.
knows that. His grandfather used to be a Canadian. He was one of the leaders in the technocracy movement that supposedly he got thrown out of Canada for wanting to overstate the government. And basically, technocracy is like all those bad books you've been reading, Brave New Worlds in 1984, where only people that know what's going on, have your best interest at heart, should be running things because they know more than you. They're smarter than you. You can work less, but then you're going to get energy credits, which basically means you'll be attached to a way of being, and you can't move beyond where you are, no matter what you want to do, and it doesn't matter. And so somehow this guy whose grandfather wanted to have 12 people running the world, which they are already, by the way, for the most part, that world anyways, so it's a rigged game. It's beyond a rigged game. It's not even a game. It's like that. That's the thing. You're made to believe it's a game, so that you start to play the game, and then you get to your 80s and you realize, wait a minute, I've been running in circles for 80 years. I'm so tired. Oh, well, whatever. I'm going to be dead soon. Maybe the next person can help. And then too late for you anyways in this life, unless you pick up your responsibility, go inside. And mostly you have to see how you've been wrong, how you fooled yourself or allowed yourself to be fooled. Like, I still don't see so many people going, I was bad here. I was wrong here. I made mistakes here. I mean, I could list 1,000 of them now. And I can tell you from my own experience, that's the best, most, and maybe even only way to grow in your power is to understand how you've misused your power, as you like, a mistake, a misuse, let's say, and so that you can unmisuse your stuff, so to speak, and move somewhere else.
Yeah, man, take the power back. And we've said this before, I haven't said in a few weeks, but it's all your fault, right? Everything. The good and the bad. Unfortunately, when you say that, most people, because you're in a place they don't want to be, they only focus on the bad. No, that's not my fault. Well, it is, but so is the good stuff. And if you can change, and then you can build the life of your dreams, and then, but you will be saying it's all my fault. I did create this, right? So this is the thing: is as long as we keep learning and we take responsibility, and like Lorenzo said, we've got to be real. We've got to, let it, be real about when we were an idiot, when we were wrong, when we were hurtful, when we were whatever. This is the thing, and this is the ongoing journey, I guess, is peeling back the layers, right? Like, it's like the statue, right? It's not finished when there's nothing more to add. It's finished when there's nothing more to take away. So we're just stripping this stuff off. But if you don't, admit that there's a layer there, how can you strip it off? So that's where it starts. And another thing I've seen a lot, it's just recently is, a lot of people want to tell other people how to live, or they want to tell the world in general, and they'll say, oh, the world should be more loving, and why is this happening, and why don't people live like this, and blah, blah, blah. But they don't do it themselves. Like it's everyone else has to change, right? But the people saying it, that they never change themselves and what they're doing. And that's because they're not being honest with themselves. They're not sort of looking at it and going, okay, well, maybe I need to be more loving, more whatever, I want the world to be, because that's the only way you can actually influence the world. If you want there to be more love, be more loving, right? If you want there to be more abundance, be more giving, right? And then people will see that, you'll influence them, and that's how you change the world. Like, try walking up to someone and pointing them, in their chest and going, be more loving. They got to tell you to bugger off because you're an idiot, right? So we've got to be once we can't influence the world by who we are if we don't know who we are and we're not being true to who we are.
Yeah, and being responsible and being bad. Like I see some people, it's too much for me. I can't take full responsibility. It's not all my fault. I mean, if you want to put your logical brain on, you realize the only real thing that you can confirm is your own existence, right? None of this, anything beyond what you do in your day-to-day for yourself. And again, watching results, not watching what your head tells you, can be provable to you, by you, and for you. And that's all I mean by provable to you and to see. So if something in your life is horrible or you've done something horrible, the more responsibility you take, the more energy you can pull back, the better you can do next time. Real reality. That's it. So too many people go, oh no, can't be all my fault. There's so many things you can blame, but you're just giving away the potential for your own movements next by saying, well, 80% is my fault. So 20% is someone else's fault, or whatever you want to put a percentage on it. And so really all you're saying is you're only willing to claim 80% of your power, which in my opinion is like saying nothing, because I strongly feel, you try crossing the road and leaving your foot behind. You got to take 100% of you to the other side of the road to get to the other side of the road. You can't go, well, I'll just leave my hands over here because I don't like them, but the rest of me is beautiful. I'm going over there. Right? It's never going to work. So it's the same. It's your fault if you're overweight. Of course, Mr. Obvious, right? If you've eaten too much, everything, your physical, ailments, all of them, you really have to take responsibility for them, even if you don't think it's your fault or something happened. If you pretend, let's say, for a little while, probably you'll find other results than you could have imagined before by blaming anybody for anything else.
Yeah, no one else can change us. If you're going to point the finger, as someone pointed out, first of all, there's three pointing back at you. But the best place to point the finger is when you're in front of a mirror, right? Because, unless it's your fault, you can't change anything. And this is the other thing about everything's your fault. A lot of people don't like it when we say that. But if nothing's your fault, how are you going to change it? Like, you can't go, what are you going to do? Go around and change the rest of the world and say, look, everyone, all 8 billion of you, or how many people, you all have to change, you have to do this, and then I'll be able to live my full, complete life. So please change, everyone. I mean, that's just silly, right? So if it's all your fault, that's a place of empowerment. It means you can see where you've gone wrong and you can change it, right? You can change things. If it's the outside world's fault, oh, it's the politicians, oh, it's the tax, oh, it's a big business, oh, it's Musk, oh, it's Trump, whatever, then you can't change that. You're stuck, basically. So, that's really the biggest reason to take control of who you are and to stop taking in the lies of other people and being led down paths that have nothing to do with you. And that's the main thing, is all this news and all this stuff that's going on, most of it has nothing to do with us. All the drones and orbs flying around, I haven't seen any, like, physically with my eyes, but I've seen many, many, many online and many videos and all this kind of stuff, but it's not actually happening to me. So it's not even my experience. And this is one of the problems with, everyone being connected in on phones and computers and things, is they can take an event and make it seem much bigger, make it seem like it's affecting you, right? Make it seem like the world's a bad place. and all you're doing is watching a video. You don't even know if that's real. Like, I mean, there've been so many fake videos coming out about the UFOs. We know there've been faking videos about conflicts, right, for decades. And now we've got AI. So this is, we've got to sort of look at the world that way. We don't know that anything's real. So if we get emotionally attached to it, oh my God, it's so bad. Look what they're doing. This is happening and that's happening. They're ruining the environment. They're starting conflicts. Well, then they've got us, right? And we get emotionally attached, which brings down our vibration. It makes us feel powerless. And in the end, it might not even be true. It might just be a story. It's almost like reading, whatever, right? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and going, oh my God, there's other lands in the wardrobes, and getting worried about it. It's just a book, it's just a story. Like basically most of the things that we see in the outside world, it's just a story. We don't have to believe it.
I mean, everyone here has probably seen some movies. Everyone here has probably seen how real they can make a movie look. The fact that they give you these AI technological programs to play with now, you already know they keep a lot of this technology to themselves. They probably had Photoshop for 100 years, and then they slowly give you something that you can use, but who knows what sort of control mechanisms they have that's up and way beyond. So you can't prove it, like as Campbell said, what's in your reality as real to you. I mean, maybe everyone, an easier task, can ask themselves, why are you here? Play the game you asked to be born. Play the game you asked to come into this reality. Play the game you asked for this life, and ask yourself, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Do you want to be someone who gossips and blames and points and sits in a room and doesn't have enough money and is unhealthy and dies somewhat satisfied simply because that's all that's been allowed to you, obviously? Or is there something else? Like, are you really willing to shake the bars and to go beyond the comfort zone and to go outside the box, however you want to look at it, to go beyond, the known and to see for yourself what's possible? Do you want that adventure? I mean, I highly recommend everyone takes a moment and remembers as far back as they can to when they were little boys or girls, and to see at that moment, if you were that little person talking to you now, would you be proud of who you become, or would you scare the bejesus out of them and would they run away in the other direction? The adults used to scare the F out of me when I was a little boy. My fat aunts or my hoary HOARY teachers. And I think it's because you could see they weren't living from their honest, authentic selves. And at the time, it used to freak you out.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading the comments here. Yeah, and this is the thing. So I think Lorenzo mentioned it before. We're thinking of going to the US of A. And remember when it used to be called the USA, and now it's just the US? Geez, maybe a corporation took it over. Who knows? But anyway, we're thinking of going to the land of the Orange Man and doing a live event. We did one, wasn't it last year? It was 2023, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
No, October, it was 2024. No, it was last year.
Was
2024. Yep.
Jeez. Okay. We went there at some point and we did an event, and it was in Florida. We're thinking maybe of going back, to at least the southeast kind of area. So let us know if you'd be interested in coming. We're going to get some details together and we'll let you know when that's through. But this is the thing is we've just decided to do it. We've just decided what northeast. We're doing the southeast.
Southeast. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yes, it's too cold in the north for me, so we're going to go where it's warm. But we've just decided to do it. We didn't ask permission. We haven't looked outside and in the world and said, well, okay, look, all these people are doing it, so we can definitely do it, or anything like that. It's just like we just decided, let's do it. We want to do it. Let's get some people, bring people together. Let's have some good discussions, share some information, have some fun in the sun. And this is how you live life. Like we did this last time we went, last year apparently. And the same thing, we just decided we were going to do it, and we did it. Lorenzo
Campbell landed 2 hours after the event started, like literally on the moment. Literally 2 hours after the event started, that's when he landed. I still remember. So it's like literally sometimes you don't know it's going to be pulled off until the very last second, but you got to go for it anyways.
Yeah. And it sort of happens like that a lot, right? It's you get tested up until the last minute. Are you really want this? And Lorenzo could have gone, oh my God, he's not here. It's cancelled. Go home, everyone. But we didn't. We went forward and we did it. And this has happened a lot in my life. And Lorenzo's just decided that he wants more adventure in his life, so he's just bought a ticket. He's going off to Canada and doesn't really know what's going to happen. Right? He's just decided he's doing it. He trusts the universe. He's got something, more that he wants from life. He wants to, have some adventure, and he's trusting that it will be fine because it's something that's coming from within him, right? He's trusting his intuition. It's time to move, So this is a much better way, in my opinion, to live life than looking outside and going, okay, well, I'd like to start a business, but when I look at the statistics, only 10% of businesses actually make it to 3 years, so I'll probably fail, so it's not worth it, And this is what happens when we get information from the outside, let alone the people. Go and tell your family, I'm going to do, whatever. I've decided I'm going to quit my job and travel the world for the next 3 years and see what happens. They're not going to be, your family is not going to be, oh, that's great, awesome, we'll support you, yeah, good on you, going for life. They'll be like, you idiot, what are you doing? What about, what about your house? What about your job? What about society? What if you get stuck in a foreign country? All this stuff, right? But it's only the people who believe in themselves, who trust their intuition and then act on it, actually put some action in, that have these amazing experiences. Like it is. Go and knock on your neighbour's door who goes to work every day and does what he's told, and ask him about the amazing experiences he's had in life. And he'll probably tell you about a movie he's watched or something. And so this is really what it is. Taking control of your life it's taking control, deciding I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it because I've decided I want to do it. There's no other reason. I don't know how I'm going to do it necessarily, but I'm going to do it anyway. And, it's much more freeing, much more adventurous, much more fun than doing what you're told, right? Rules are for fools, man.
Yeah. So if you want to escape, no worries. If you want to escape a bad fate, you have to take matters into your own hands. Like Campbell has said before in some of our videos, just to serve yourself. If you don't like what you're being served, don't order another plate. In other words, right? If you don't job, don't go to your job. If you say you need to pay your bills, figure out a way to lessen your bills or to move away from them, just to be honest. Most people find, including myself, I have to say, the hardest thing is simply being honest. If you sit down and take honest stock of your life, of what you like and what you don't like, honestly, not what you've been told and not what you've been inculcated with, but honestly, what I don't like this relationship, I don't like this job, I don't like this country, I don't like what I do every day, I don't like how unhealthy I feel, I don't like whatever, and also what you like. I would like more adventure, and I would like to have some loving relationships, and then be that person. Campbell has mentioned that too. If you want to live in a loving society, be more loving. If you want to live in an abundant society, be more abundant. Open up, I would say, to already who you are. I think everyone's already fully loving. Everyone's already fully abundant. Everyone's already fully full of imagination. Everyone's already fully ready to have a good adventure. You just have to, let your ass catch up with the rest of you, let's say, and move towards and take, like, I lost sleep when I decided to leave, just so everyone knows. It's not like, oh, I'm going on an adventure. All right, going to give up my life. Let's go. 4 days in a row, I'm going, what am I doing? Am I crazy? Am I insane? I can't even believe I'm doing, and how many people told me, don't go back to Canada. Everyone I mentioned, and I don't talk to anyone, are you crazy? My father, don't go. Canada's crazy for this reason, and Trump and this, and they're closing the borders and this, and Canada's going to become part of the States. I'm going, good, it'll be easier to travel. What do I care? And so many people were trying to tell me, don't do it. Like Campbell said, I'm going, why am I even talking to them? I remember telling myself, you don't need anyone's permission, to go into your own fruition, to be free.
And that's the lies. And this is what happens when you decide something. All this talk and chatter will come up in your mind telling you why you shouldn't do it. But the thing is, that's not you. That voice, that's not you, right? That's just an amalgamation of the outside world and everyone's opinion that's based on someone else's opinion. And all these people saying, don't go, this will happen, this will happen. I bet you these people have never done anything in their lives. They're just living in fear, right? Everything's scary. Same thing happened to me when I went traveling, oh, don't go, there's going to be another, lockdown. Can I say that word? Oh, this has happened. Oh, all the planes are falling out of the sky. You'll crash. Oh, don't do this. Don't go to that country. Man, I had a ball because I didn't listen, because it had nothing to do with me. That's just someone else's opinion. And they're allowed to live their life but by their own opinions and their own, standards. That's fine. But it's got nothing to do with me. Like, it just hasn't. So this is the thing. If we can see life that way and start actually trusting ourselves and like, well, I'm just going to do it anyway, it's going to work out. And, it doesn't matter what anyone, I don't need the outside world's approval to do it. Like Lorenzo said, you don't. You just need your inner world's approval. We live in two worlds, right? The inner world, the outside world. The outside world is just all this chaos, right? Of however many billions of people and their thoughts creating all this stuff. And we can't really control that. We can influence it, but we can control what we do, how we respond, how we act, and that's our inner world. Like making a decision. I'm going to do this, going through with it, and not getting stuck down in all these opinions of, what if this happens? What if this happens? That's crazy. Didn't you know that Trump's going to make it the 51st state of the USA in Canada? What are you doing? Oh, my God, it's a communist country. Oh, they're doing that. Man, I mean, you hear this talk, and I've heard it, my whole life. But not much of it really happens. It's all fear, right? It's all people expressing their fears to you. So, I would say don't live in fear. It's a bit of a catchphrase at the moment. Don't live in fear. Don't believe the fear. Well, I agree. Don't. But that's anything that scares you. Like, bring it back to you. Why are you scared? What? Because of someone else's experience? That's not you. That's not you.
No. I mean, what are most people afraid of from all of the things that they won't do? Usually death. If you want to boil it down to the bottom, they're afraid they'll die. The plane will fall out of the sky, as Campbell said. You'll catch something. You'll lose your money. You'll lose your job. You'll be living on the streets and eating dishwater and begging for grubs or whatever. But the worst has already happened in that after you're born, it's pretty much non-negotiable. One day you won't be here, one way or the other. Most people don't want to think about it, but it's still true. You only have so much time, and that's coming anyway. So why be afraid of something you can't avoid? Makes no sense to me. It's like being afraid of your own feet, or afraid of breathing, like people they're double masking up here again for some reason. Like, if you use your logic and your reasoning, you'll understand. It's like, well, you need air. Well, you're going to die. You should have some adventures and enjoy your life. Like, what are you holding on to? Would you rather hold on to an extra 3 years of a bad life? Or would you rather just have some fun and see what happens and, share with yourself or your grandkids or your siblings or whoever that you had this adventure, and boy, is it the best thing you've ever done? Or, well, I saved a few dollars. I can't really walk too well anymore, but my favorite show is coming on, so I don't want to miss next week's episode, and I hope the grandkids visit, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, oh my goodness, grab a gun now if that's, the kind of life you want to experience as the only thing possible in this potential time when you're born and you have life and you have the gift of endless creation. What are you going to do with that?
What are we going to do that? Awakening. An interesting term that's been thrown around a lot. Are we awake? I mean, I would say I'm not. What does that even mean? The problem with, being awake, I'm awake. Are you awake? Yes, we're all awake. Yay. That's a destination, right? Once you hit that, you don't need to do anything else because you're awake, right? You're stopping the flow. It's a journey. It's a journey, man. I've had people, I've talked to lots and lots of people, and some people are like, oh, are you awake? I'm so awake. Oh, and I'll start talking to them about a topic, and they've got no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay. So what are we awake to? What? The money system, the politics? Some people are down there. Some people are, eons ahead. It's a journey. It's a ladder to keep climbing. And this is a thing I talked about a lot in the last couple of years, is we can't wake anyone up. You can't. How do you wake anyone up? You can't. You can influence them. You can give them questions to ask themselves, but you can't wake anyone up. And I'm not sure that you can ever be awake either. It's a process of awakening. And this is really life, right? Anytime we judge things as good or bad, right or wrong, we stop, right? Because we know the answer. I'd love to travel overseas, but there's terrorists everywhere and planes are crashing. So I can't, right? Because I've just told myself that it's too dangerous. It doesn't mean anything, but what it does is it stops you because you know the truth. And with anything, the world's a bad place. Look at all these politicians and the tax system and the legal system. Oh, it's a bad place. Look, these are my proof. Well, you've just stopped yourself from ever making it a better place, right? Because you've decided it's bad. So now all you're going to see is the bad, right? It's called your reticular activating system. It's a part of your brain. It's only going to point out to you what you believe in. So if you're awake, the problem with that is it kind of puts you in this position of, I know more than all the NPCs, right? They're just NPCs. They're just normies. Now, if you look at people like that, are you going to be compassionate to them? You're going to be loving, you're going to be giving, all these things that people say that everyone should be. You can't really be that, right? Because you're awake. So that's just my little rant on all this stuff about, putting ourselves on pedestals. All it does is make us look down on people, and it stops us expressing the emotions that we want to see more from the population. Like that's it. So life's flowing, and we're always growing. And once you're out of that flow, things go slow. There you go. Little poem for you all.
Middle poem. I mean, you can't not be awake. You could be lost in habit. You could be making the same choice over and over. You could be living in fear. But, once you're conscious and you have a consciousness, meaning you're born, and what you do with that consciousness, some people may be pretending to be asleep, let's say, and that's how they're awake. Some people may be pretending, to be a hamburger flipper, and that's how they're awake. Some people may be, somebody mentioned they chose not to fly because they don't want to. That's fantastic. No one's saying you should fly or you shouldn't fly. I dislike flying, right? I don't like the energy. I don't like what they do to you. I don't like the stress they give you in the airports. I hate all of that garbage,
right? I don't like the seats in economy, man. I'm going business class.
Seats in
economy sucks.
I mean, I don't like the food they give you. I don't like the perfume people wear beside me. I don't like any of it, right? But what are you going to do? But I'll have to put up with it if I want to move now for the sake of my life, simply because you put up with some stress to get to where you want to go, if that's what you need to do, if that's what you want to do. So you can't wake anybody up because they're not asleep. Campbell said this before many times. You're just basically saying you're going to tell people how to be alive. And in your version of the vision, that's how they're awake, is they believe you and your truth. Because somehow you're awake and they're not. So you're on a pedestal higher than them, right? And that is ridiculous, because no one's better than anyone else. We just all have different lives, and what we do with it is literally up to us.
Yeah, man. Be the change you want to see. We've got all these idioms and sayings, and most of them, in essence, are true. It's when the problem is when people try and expand them and get right down and but if you just stick to things like be the change you want to see, that's pretty simple, pretty easy. If you want people to be more loving, be more loving, and that's really it, guys. And just believe that you have the power. You have the power to do whatever you want. And you know that you do. All you've got to do is stop listening to the chatter, right? And a good way to stop that, obviously, meditation. I see someone did mention it before, but that really is the sort of one of the first places to start, is to stop the chatter in your mind, because that's what holds you back. Every time you have a inspiration or a dream, you're like, I can do this, and then burp, burp, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. Get rid of that voice. Like that's really something that I think most of us need to work on. Spend an hour less on social media, and spend it sitting in a quiet room and getting in touch with yourself. So there you go. All lies in the alien invasion. Don't let the aliens invade your mind. Don't believe the hype, man.
Don't let the There is no AI. There is none of that stuff, in my opinion. I mean, there may be highly evolved computer programs that can, paint a lady for you, but that's not AI. Someone intelligently put those together. You are the only intelligence on the planet. Perhaps we are the aliens in this strange dream. I think the aliens have maybe made the dream, and we're the aliens. Things are usually backwards. So, maybe if you're going to have some alien disclosure, disclosure just means to open, right? Disclosure is the opposite of closure. So open yourself up, make your own choice. Campbell and I will have an event coming up, maybe April, maybe Florida. You can join us live. You can go to our channels. You can join our Autodidactic Alliance or Auto Alliance, and we'll meet there virtually. I put up a beautiful video recently with Tom Montauk on alien incursions, demonic interference, and self-love. Putting that all together, it's a beautiful topic. He's a beautiful man. It's on my channel now. I just put it up a day or so ago. And Campbell put up another wonderful one on AI just yesterday, I believe, or was it today, on his channel as well. And it's all about the same topic. We all boil it down to taking responsibility for your life, loving who you are by accepting who you haven't been or how you've been horrible, let's say, and putting all that together and making a wonderful life for yourself and then moving forward.
Yep, indeed, guys. So all links below in the description. There's an email there too if you want to connect with us, contact us. But yeah, go over, check out our locals. There's free stuff, so you'll be able to check some stuff out, get some content, and there's also a paid version where we're going to be doing like Zooms, interactive things, getting more on a personal level. So go check all that out. Our website link below as well. Check that out. Share all the links around. Like us, leave us a comment. Subscribe if you haven't. What else was I supposed to say? All that stuff, right? But most of all, live your life. Live your life, because you're the only one that can do it. You can't live anyone else's life. No one else can live your life. So we don't really have that much choice as far as this stuff. So, stop the chatter and start listening to yourself and take a chance, take a risk, trust. The world is amazing when you let it be. But when you're focusing on all the problems and, oh my God, everyone needs to change, then it's maybe not so amazing. So stay awesome, right? Because you are already. Just bring that awesomeness out of you. Everything you need is inside of you. So spend time with you.
Yeah. The next time you want to wake someone up, look in the mirror. See how that goes.
Exactly, right. Yep. Next time we're going to point the finger, point at the mirror, and say, it's all my fault. There you go. It's a good starting point.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll probably do another live at some point, and then we'll be doing more lives on our Auto Alliance. So subscribe, send me an email if you want some more information. Support us if you can, because it helps us do more, because we love doing this full time as much as we can. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments. And mostly, as I said, we've got some really intelligent ones today. So I appreciate everyone participating here.
Yes. Thanks for being here and spending some time with us. Stay awesome. Check out all the links below, and we will update you on our plans to do a live event in the USA. Alrighty, guys. We'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.